Hey, welcome back, guys. So, let's do another one of these dev at work videos. I got a really busy day ahead of me, not just with programming, I got other stuff to do. So, let me show you a bit more of my process when it comes to programming or to create the game, right? So, every day I think of like a basic objective, like my minimum objective for the day. And today's objective is to make a HUD or UI, right? And then I go from there. If I just find time to do that one thing, I'll be happy. If I see some progress in my game, I'll be happy, right? So I'm going to try and do that. And then everything that comes from there, that's just bonus, right? That's less work I have to do tomorrow, right? And that's how I think about every day. Like every day before I get up or as I'm having that coffee, it's like, what am I going to do today? So today I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to make a hood. Where the hood, where the hood. Right. Also, yes, I look like a little boy. I shaved. I'm no longer a man. I can no longer be a dwarf. They cut me beard. I lost my powers. Oh my god. And yes, I know. I'm an idiot. Get used to it. anyways, anyways, lad, let's get to work. So, what do you mean about the hood? Right? That sounds more like a pirate. So yesterday I added damage numbers to damage taken. Right, check this out. So when my character gets hit, he gets a little knockback, and he gets a damage number. Right, that pops up. So now we're on an even field with the enemies. Right. Also, it's another goal for today is to fix that sword because I wasn't too happy with just the single attack in the middle. So I need to make it more AoE. It doesn't feel good. When you have like four directions for attacking and you only attack in like this little space, it really it feels janky. Anyways, so as you can see, when we get hit, damage number pops up. Our character doesn't have health and he doesn't have any way to display the health. I just made like random numbers just to, make it work. So let me show you. First of all, how do I do the damage taken numbers? It's in damage taken. Taking damage. Is that it? I think it is. Right. So if the character's in collision with the blue jelly. So this one I separate into two groups. So if he's in collision with the blue guy, we set ourselves to be hit or being hit recovery with a variable. So this is so that when the enemy collides with you, you don't just take like a million health because you're constantly in collision with it. So you get hit, and then you have this grace period where you can't be hit, right? That's pretty standard for games. It's called a hit recovery time. And the way we do it is with a boolean. So it's like we have a state of not being hit, and then when we get hit, we go into hit recovery. So this becomes true. And then we do some stuff. Then we wait a little bit. Right? It's this one. No, that's not it. It's this one. So we wait a second, and then we change the boolean back to false. So we get hit, and then we have a whole second of not being able to be hit, and then this goes back to false, and then we can get hit again. Right? So that's our grace period. This is the knockback. So when we get hit, also this is too low. There we go. I feel like all hunched over, and I'm also still waking up. Okay. I also have I have progressive lenses, right? So I look like an old man. It's like when I need to see like the little things far away, I need to go like this. I need to do the mean face, like, ugh. But when I need to see things up close, I need to be like the old guy that he goes, hey, let me have a look at that, Sonny. What does that say again? I need to look up and see like from the bottom of my glasses. What does that say again, Sonny boy? I cannot see right. That's gonna be me in like a couple of years. I'm getting old. Anyways, back to the gaming. So yeah, so we need to do two variables. We need the damage taken. This is where we actually calculate the damage, or we input the damage. Right now, it's just random. There's no big calculations. It's just a random number between 1 and 3. This is how much damage the blue guy does. And then we need to change the variable health of rogue, or subtract from his health the variable above. And the reason we don't just go like, oh, subtract from health random between 1 and 3, it's so we can do this for damage numbers as well. If you can hear a high pitched noise, it's because my nana is vacuuming the house. That thing squeaks like nobody's business. Or whistles. Yeah, so to do damage numbers, where do I even have that? Where did I put the damage numbers? Did I make a thing just for damage numbers? Oh yeah, here we go. Right. So I made a different variable, so I don't need to like put this on every single one of these things, right? I just made a variable damaged, right? And when this gets triggered, we trigger this event down here. And this is just the damage numbers, right? So for us to be able to add the same number that we were just damaged by, right? The same number we just subtracted the health from. I hope that made sense. We need to use two variables, right? Because we need to put that variable here for the text. Yeah, I did. I know. I did a horrible job explaining it. Let's just move on. I hope you got it. If you didn't, just say, "Man, you make no sense. Explain better," and I'll try to. But I don't know. This was just a heads up, because I'm still waking up. It was not my intention to explain stuff. But anyways, so what's the given here? We need to make a current health, and we need to make a max health, right? Our character needs to have both. So, and to make it so that when we change the scene, the health stays the same and doesn't like reset, we can't use an object variable like I'm using right now. We need to use a global variable, because globals, they're in memory, right? You can change scenes as many times as you want. They will never change unless you tell them to. Object variables and scene variables, the moment you change the scene, those disappear, right? So let's make two variables. Let's go to not game dashboard. Where is it? Global variables. I already have one for the sounds, and is it at the top? Yeah. I'm gonna hit this button twice, and I'm gonna add two variables. And I'm gonna call these current health, and it's gonna be a number, not a string. And let's make this, I don't know, like 100, right? And let's make the max health also a number, and it's gonna be 100, right? So when the game starts, when everything gets booted up for the first time, we're gonna have 100 health out of 100 health. All right. Let's hit apply. Now what do I want to do? Now let's make the HUD. So let's go to our external layouts. I'm gonna add one. I'm gonna call this game UI. Does that make sense? Game UI. Let's just call this HUD. I'm a little like, I don't know. I like my stuff to make sense always. And let's add a layer. And let's call this layer HUD as well. Uh oh my god, that vacuum cleaner. It just sounds like a jet plane taking off. Um right. So external layouts. Uh we need to connect this to a scene. And what I usually do is this. I make a new scene just because I don't man, I don't like um I don't like being afraid of deleting a scene and then maybe screwing something up. So what I do is I make a scene just to connect stuff to. So let's call this one game code. Space, don't delete. And I'm just going to connect every little thing to this one scene. Right? The only thing we need to take into account is this. I'm going to make this black just because I like black. It's not so straining on my eyes. Let's add the layer. And this is the only thing we need to take into account. This um, this scene needs to have the same layers as all the other scenes. That's the only thing we need to do, right? Other than that, this can just sit here in a corner, and we'd never use this. We never use this scene, and we're gonna connect our external events, our external layouts. We're gonna connect everything onto this scene. I just closed the HUD. Never close the HUD. You cannot close the HUD. Choose a scene. There we go. And now we connect this to game code.delete. I'm gonna hit choose. So now we get the external layout to have the same layers and the same setup as the game code.delete, which should have the same setup as every other scene that we use, right? So now let's make the HUD. And we're gonna create a new object. And we're gonna use a simple text. Um simple text. Let's call this text health. Right. Size, I don't know, let's make it big. 40. Choose a font. Not right now. Just make it bold. Let's enable an outline. And let's swap it around. Let's make the outline black. Where's the thickness? There we go. Thickness. I don't know, let's make this 6. And let's change the actual font to white. And my eyes are usually like detrimentally black. 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 I want to suck your blood. Blood. They're usually really bad, but in the morning while I'm still waking up, they're like, they might as well not exist. And also, this is gonna bite me in the butt, being just called health. So let's call it health text, because our stuff should always be different. The the names, and a basic name like health, that's gonna be used again. It's gonna get used again. I'm 100% sure on that. So for us to see more or less what this is going to look like, I'm just going to type in the text 100 out of 100. Or better yet, 999 out of 999. So it's different. This way we can have a bit of a preview on how it's going to look. I'm going to hit apply. And I'm looking at the wrong thing. So it's going to be there in the corner. And now I can add the HP, right? I can say like HP, then 999 out of 99. Actually, that's what I'm going to do. And then I'm going to put like a heart before the HP. Right? So it says HP or health points. Then it says the number. And then before it, I'm going to add like a little heart there. Now let's click it and let's make sure it's in the right layer, which is not. It says base layer, which is the layer with all the booze. Drop the booze. I made that joke before, but I doubt anyone heard it. It's also not a very good joke. Anyways, so we got that. So that should work. Now we're going to go onto our scene. We're going to make an event that's dedicated to stuff that happens at the beginning of the scene. We'll call it at the beginning of the scene. This is going to be dedicated to everything that I want to just add at the start, though it's easy for me to know where the heck it is. And we're going to make at the beginning of the scene. Yeah, there's nothing else we need to add. I could also do with not a coffee. Already had a coffee. Cup of tea. Get myself a nice cup of tea. That's when you know you're getting old. Also, external events. Not external events. External layout. Yeah. Create objects from external layout. Yeah, that's when you know you're getting old. Is when you're young, you're like, man, tea sucks. And then you start getting old and you're like, could actually do with a cup of tea. It's okay. And then you know you're getting you get real old. When you're like, you know what? I would actually really like a cup of tea. Then you know you're buggered at that point. So the reason we put the X and the Y at 0, 0 is because that's how things get created, right? So this layer moves because I have a camera moving. The camera HUD, the layer HUD also has a camera that doesn't move, right? And the external layout HUD has the same dimensions of the camera as everything else in the project, right? It's the same resolution for everything. So when you tell it to create from 0, 0, it's here. So if you put it at 0, 0, it will create the external layout exactly on top of this one, of everything else, right? I've explained this better before, but like I said, I'm not here to explain stuff. I'm just working and trying to talk while I do it, which is not working out. But anyways, if we press preview, there is no HUD. Why is there no HUD? Where did I mess up? We have the layer HUD. Title screen? No. This isn't. Oh, I know why. I'm an idiot. Don't mind me. I'm gonna grab this. We need to make it. Oh, for crying out loud. We need to make this into a global object. There we go. Need to open that thing and then drag and drop and then hit OK. And now everything should work because scene objects is just for that scene object, for that scene, even if it's from an external whatever. Yeah, see? Now it works. So we got numbers there. Now we need to make it actually work. So how do we make it actually work? We do it like this. Right. So there's a better way to go about this, but I'm just gonna give you the quick example, so this video doesn't like turn into like hours and hours and hours. I can just do it in a way where it's gonna work, and then I can fix it later. Also, the damage numbers, both me hitting the enemies and the enemies hitting me, they're down here because you need to create the damage numbers first, and then you change the color of it. If you do this before you create the objects, the the damage numbers are gonna pop up as white, as the default color, and then the next frame over, they're gonna get the color. But you can see it, even though it's just for a frame. You can see it go from white to like colored. Anyways, taking damage. So I'm gonna copy paste this. Gonna open this. Not gonna make a condition, and all I'm gonna do is this. All I wanna do is, I always think of that song, even though I hate that song. So we're gonna do the action text, and we're gonna change the text health text, and we're gonna set it to, and this is gonna be a mouthful. All right, so we're gonna change it to, we gotta need to start with quotations, and we're gonna change it to HP space and quotations. So we're gonna change it to this word, HP space. The space is important. If you don't have the space, then it's gonna get all like jumbled up on top of each other, right? So we're gonna make it from HP thing, and then we're gonna add a plus. Now we're gonna add the first variable, which is the current health, right? Because we want 100. The first 100 is the current, and then slash maximum health, right? So plus current health, and let's see if this works. Current health plus start quotations space slash space and slash. All right. Because remember, there's a slash in the middle, and the slash is text, right? Plus the max health. So max health. Right. And right now it's working. Sometimes this will not work. I don't know if they changed it or if they fixed it or whatever the heck they did to it. But usually when you try to put a number a variable inside a text object, it will complain at you. It will say, dude, you're trying to make a text out of a number. Don't do that, right? And at that point, we need to use the expression toString, right? Which basically just means to text, or change a number variable to a text variable to then put into the text object, right? But right now, it's not saying that. If it did, like if it was red underneath and saying like, dude, you're doing this stuff that's wrong, you'd have to do a toString, I think then like this. I think that's how it works. Yeah. See? It doesn't say it's wrong. In fact, just for exemplification, let's make it. So toString, and then you open parentheses, you add the variable, and you close parentheses. So you're saying to the project, right, this is a number variable, but you're saying, hey, change this to string or to text this number variable, right? So you're turning the number variable into a text variable. I hope that makes some sort of sense. Sometimes it will complain, sometimes it won't. But as you can tell, we have the current health out of max health now. But it doesn't work, obviously. Right? Because we have not connected the two. Right. So I actually need to think about this a little bit. So instead, this part's easy. So instead of change the variable health of rogue, we're gonna double click this, and we're gonna change this to global variable. So global number variable. Change the number variable. Variable is current health. We're gonna subtract from current health the value, I don't know. So I'm gonna press OK because I forgot what the variable is called. So we're gonna change current health and we're gonna subtract the variable damage taken, which is the actual damage calculation. So to do that, we're gonna subtract rogue, which is the object that's holding the variable. So rogue, and we're gonna assign a variable. So we want to use one of his variables. So we type in dot variable. Then we open parentheses and we type in the variable we're talking about, which is damage taken. So damage, not sandwich. Not sandwich. Gut, you're thinking about food again. Sandwich. Damage taken. Oh my god. And we close. And, oh, there we go. It's working. It's no longer red. It's like, okay, you did good. So now every time we take damage, it's going to subtract from current health. See? It's working. There's this one issue. I didn't put a cap. So when it gets to 0, it's going to keep going down. Right? But it's working. See? It's not optimized for performance. Oh my god. I need to change the sound. I need to make a variation of the sound. Also, 100 was too much. 100 was too much for testing. Jeez Louise. But this feels much nicer with the half moon. Also, I need to get hit by the blue guys because the pink ones don't do anything. Come on, almost there. But you're gonna see the issue. Come here, blue guy. Alright. So now we're gonna go into negative numbers. 0, -2, and we're just gonna keep on adding up the minus numbers, right? So the way we go about this, well, there's two ways. We could make it so that once it gets to 0, we stop updating the current health. But then that's too specific, right? So for example, let's say we have 3 health and we get hit with 5 damage, right? We still go down to -2 and then we stop updating. So the way I go about this is to make an overflow and underflow condition. Or I suppose you can call it like a safeguard. So I'm going to copy that. I'm going to go to the right at the bottom. I'm gonna add right at the very bottom, when everything else is being calculated, I'm gonna add the over and under flow. Right. And I'm gonna put stuff that I don't want to go over a certain thing here. So let's change the global number variable current health. Current health. And if current health is less than 0. So if it's 0, you'll leave it okay. But if it goes less than 0, if it goes into minus numbers, then we make it so that the change global number there, so that current health gets set to 0. So if it goes under 0, it gets instantly put back to 0. So that way it doesn't underflow or overflow. Well, overflow is the opposite, right? So we can also make it, for the example, let's say we're healing, right? And remember, our max health is 100, right? So if the global variable current health is greater than, and now instead of putting 100 here, since we're making an RPG and the max health is going to change, we just put the max health here. So if it's greater than max health, oh my god, health. If it's greater than max health, it overflows. So we're going to set the current health and we're going to set it to max health. Max health. So if we heal up, let's say we're at 90 and we heal up by 30, instead of going up to 120, you'll go up to 120 and instantly get knocked back to 100. Right. So now to better test this, we're going to go on damage taken. Where is damage taken? Did I close player? I didn't close. Movement, taking damage. There we go. We're going to change the damage of the blue guy, the blue jelly. I'm going to change this to 10 to 30 damage. Just for testing. So now, when the blue guy hits us, he does a bunch of damage. But see? It doesn't go below 0 anymore. Cool, right? There you go. So we did some sort of HUD stuff, right? So that's today's objective. Now I'm going to fix the sword. I'm going to do some animation stuff. But yeah, we have one part of the heads-up display, the HUD or the UI or whatever it is you want to call it, the user interface. And it kind of works. It does stuff. And it's a good beginning for everything else, right? So I'm going to call it here before the video gets way too long, okay? I'm going to make myself a cup of tea. A lovely cup of tea, gents. Yes, I will never do that again. Don't worry. Alright, guys. I hope you learned something. This was Dev at Work. I'm going to do more deving, and I'm going to develop this game a bit more. Then I got a busy day. I got other stuff to do. And oh my god, look at that baby face. Every time I look at myself, I'm like, Who is that? Look at that. I miss my beard already. Where did my beard go? Anyways, guys, I'll catch you on the next one. Until then, have a good day and peace out. All right. Stay safe.